Well, good afternoon, and I apologize that we can't be there, but with COVID, we have restrictions in our company on how many people in a room I could be with. And I guess because of the great attendance and thank you, that number got exceeded. So I think we're in line with other companies our size in trying to protect our leaders as best we can. So, but I promise I do exist. I grew up there. I'm here with my wife, Jerry. We're celebrating our 49th wedding anniversary on August 18th.
I'm glad you remembered.
Yeah, that's right. So here we are. And thank you for the recognition. It's really, it's a fun project. It's fun to be back home, and it's fun, the enthusiasm we've received from the county and the cooperation from everyone in the county to make our vision and dreams a reality. I think we're off to a pretty good start. And again, we're reacquainting with old friends we haven't seen for 30, 40, or 50 years. And in fact, Jerry's hosting her high school reunion. I won't tell you what year that is, but she's having her high school reunion at the wineries this year in a couple of weeks. So been a lot of fun to be in this project. And I think we've accomplished what we think is a great deal in a relatively short period of time, but I assure you the best is yet to come. And I hope to give St. Charles County a glimpse of that this morning or this afternoon with my presentation. So Chris, I'm on slide 3 here on my Augusta overview. There you go. So, it all started out in Augusta, and I think what happened, how we decided to choose this particular part of the country was, again, we're from there. We were back visiting, and we drove down 94, and we just kind of said, gosh, this kind of reminds us of Napa Valley. And we saw an opportunity. We thought it was a little bit undiscovered. So we certainly knew about it having grown up there, but we didn't think our friends from around the country and frankly around the world had even knew wine existed in Missouri. So we saw it as an opportunity to develop and to make it known as a national destination. We have done similar projects in other parts of the country. Beaver Creek, Colorado, the ski resort, we developed the base of that area. Naples, Florida was our most recent project, which we've gotten tremendous notoriety for. And then Winnetka, Illinois, where Jerry and I lived for the prior 20 years. We redeveloped the North Shore of Chicago. So again, we felt this was an undiscovered part of the world, and we wanted to exploit that opportunity. Chris, next slide, please. So what we started out with is the purchase of 4 wineries and 6 vineyards actually. The Augusta Winery, the Montel Winery, the Balducci Vineyards and Wineries, and Mount Pleasant. These are the ones we currently own. We also are developing Knorrschild on 94 in Jackson, which will also be a winery. And we have a winery down in Washington, Missouri. We have 1,100 acres in the region that we've either contracted to purchase or have purchased. Most of that has been purchased. I'd like to give you a quick snapshot first of our Augusta winery. It's been mostly renovated now. Whoop, there you go. It's been mostly renovated at this stage. We painted it red. What you see in the left upper hand corner there is our beer and wine garden. It's been restored. The big stone building there is our storage and processing facility. And then we also have a large bottling plant in that operation as well. I think one of the things that I'm most excited about for Augusta in this particular winery is we've made this technology hub for us in the wine industry. We have built a new lab there under the direction of Colin, our chief winemaker, and the technology in that lab will rival anything in the wine industry. Historically, what wineries did in the region is they would get their samples and they would run various tests, and they would ship those samples out to California to make sure everything was on par with that winemaking process. Now we can do it on site, and we will be receiving those samples from the Midwest Winery, and we hope to be taking over that aspect of the wine business very, very shortly. Next is a glimpse of the Montel Winery. It's the first one that you see when you come into Augusta. That view that was up is probably, in our opinion, one of the greatest views of any winery in the country. You'll notice there that we cut down a few trees. We got a little bit of pushback on that, but you should know, and what we've tried to explain to the world is we are a winery, and that hillside is going to be planted and has started now to be cleared to be planting grapevines. So we're going to have a giant vineyard right at the bottom of that hill. Another thing you'll hear me say in a minute, we're also going to have a zip line up from that steep cliff down to the bottom of 94, which we think will be pretty interesting. So I'll talk a little bit about that later in the presentation. Before I get into that, Montel was ranked the #1 winery in Missouri the last 2 years in a row by some group that does such a thing, and we're very proud of that fact. We didn't have a lot to do with it. As you can see from all the pictures of our wineries, they have been renovated. This used to be a brown building. Now it's got a bright yellow color. We use a design person all over the country that comes in and does the design. It has a lot of input from my wife, Jerry, on what these vineyards and wineries are to look like to get the greatest appeal to the consumer. And, Montel is a profitable winery. And as the saying goes in the wine industry, if you want to become a millionaire in the business, it's quite simple. You start with 10 million, and before long, you will be down to $1 million. So that's how you become a millionaire in the wine industry. But we hope to change that. Next slide, Chris, please. We also acquired Balducci Vineyards, made some pretty dramatic changes to the aesthetics of this vineyard. This is where we plan to put in our highest profile restaurant. That brick building in the background is going to be a new restaurant called the Italian Laundry, mimicking after the French Laundry in Napa Valley. We'll also be constructing an amphitheater on this particular site of 90 acres. We're also under contract to buy another 105 acres right next to it, where we'll be constructing a golf course, which I'll tell you a little bit more about in the presentation in a few minutes. The next vineyard is Mount Pleasant, and in my opinion is the prettiest winery campus in Missouri, perhaps in the Midwest. Again, I inherited these assets, so I'm not trying to brag about them, but I'm pretty proud of them now that we have it. The slide on the left is the first renovation of our underground wine cellars. We have completely restored the underground tunnels and the underground cellars to look like they were 162 years ago when they were built, with some added touches today of chandeliers and candles, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We plan to host a lot of events there and soon be opening this up to the public. You see a small glimpse of some of the sculptures we have, and I'll talk a little bit more about that as well. We've put in a sculpture park throughout Augusta. That was a $2.5 million project. We've got about 20 of those installed right now. And then you see the new color pink. Jerry would say it's not pink. What is it? What's that color?
It's called rosé.
Rosé to match the wine. And what's the other purple one?
And that one is called Merlot.
Merlot. Okay, yes. I'm sorry. Trying again to create, a very, very unique atmosphere that all Missourians will be proud of, that we showcase to the rest of America. So,
by the way, the green color is Roycroft bottle green.
There you go. But whatever that means. Yeah, thank you. So we've also instituted a trolley system in town. We have 3 trolleys. They're decorated with our vineyards, and we This has exceeded our expectations so far in terms of usage. We have about 500 to 600 people every weekend that board our trolleys and go through wine country with us. That's going to be expanded as we expand our footprint. That trolley will go to all our wineries and then perhaps then some, and maybe make it all the way down to Washington and back. But again, it's exceeded our expectation. We've got 2 new ones on order that should be delivered next week. The demand has been so great that we're going to increase its usage from 3 to 5. We run trolley systems in other parts of the country, both in Palm Beach, Florida and Naples, Florida. So that activity is being coordinated by our group out of Florida, and it's going quite well. We have our own group of Clydesdales and horses in the area. We do rides when the weather permits and the climate is appropriate. We've had a lot of difficulty with the rain this year, but we think by the fall that's going to diminish and we're going to get back in full force. It's been well received. It's a fun thing to do on the weekend, and we have 6 Clydesdales in our stable, and we're building facilities to house them in the region of St. Charles County. I had referred earlier to our bronze sculptures. This is just a few of those. I think in total there's 20 or 21 scattered throughout vineyard land for us, the wine country, on our properties and in downtown. I encourage everyone to go out and see them. Some of them are world famous artists. They're collections from throughout the United States. They're very apropos to the region and area. As you come into the town of Augusta now, we don't have it on a slide, but we have a slide of Lewis and Clark and his dog, bronzes of Lewis and Clark and his dog called The Trail of Discovery, which is a piece we're very, very proud of. It's 5 pieces of bronzes, and that theme carries throughout downtown Augusta, and it carries throughout our wineries and vineyards in the region. Next, we have our collection throughout the community of vintage 1951 Chevy pickup trucks. We've got another one en route this week. You'll see those branded with not only the name of our real estate company, but our vineyards as well. We've gotten a great deal of interest from consumers. That has led us into our next venture, which was planned. We're going to be putting in a classic truck and car museum in Augusta, or in the Augusta region of St. Charles somewhere. We've got vehicles that are purchased now, and I think it's going to be an attraction that people will want to come out and see these very unique classic cars restored. I know one of them we have is a 1926 Ford Model T that looks brand new, a 1943 Packard that looks brand new, and there'll be a host. Our museum will house probably 50 to 60 antique cars, and will continuously be added to as we continue to develop the region and the wine country of Missouri. These are some of the buildings in downtown Augusta. We'll talk a little bit more about them here in a moment that we've started. Up in the left-hand corner, you see some of our gators and our upcoming gas station. You see one of our old pickup trucks there at the Emporium building. We brought back to life the Emporium building. We had our opening night there, and I think we had 350 people attend. We were surprised on the upside. We're putting in a new restaurant and bistro across from the Augusta tasting room where you see the big sculpture there. The little blue building we're turning into a bed and breakfast. We needed to buy that building in order to put in a gas station, which we'll talk about. You see our little livery stand where we commence our horse and buggy rides there. You actually see the carriage out front. Our bike store, which is down on Water Street. And then our little hotel on Water Street, which we're in the process of restoring. And then the Augusta Wine Company building, and then the Augusta White House, which is being brought back to its original look from 40 or 50 years ago. This is our bike store. It's opened in July. We rent bikes there. We have a mechanic on duty, and it's gone again. Everything we've done in the region so far, it's exceeded our expectations at this stage of what we're doing. And again, not to coin a phrase, but this isn't our first rodeo. This is the fourth time we've done this kind of thing at some other parts of the country, and it's been quick to be received in Augusta and the wine country in terms of people visiting and actually using our bike store. And this is, again, surprised us on the upside of the amount of traffic we're getting into the bike store. Next slide, please, Chris. Well, there you go. The Emporium, we talked about that. We had a consultant come in and redo the whole thing. I think she brought it back. It was incredibly well received by the community and attended at our first opening, where we had 350 people come in and visit it. It looks like stepping back in time. Again, great usage for the bed and breakfast crowd, great usage for the bicycle crowd, great usage for the wine crowd, and great usage for the local community of Augusta to go by and get eggs, fresh food, fresh vegetables, et cetera, et cetera. So it's gone again ahead of plan. Okay, there you see a glimpse of one of our trucks again out on 94 in Jackson. And I wanted to briefly share with you that's what has occurred so far in our renovations. And now I want to get specific on what's going to happen in the relatively near term. So next slide, please. We haven't had a gas station, gas and diesel station in Augusta, I think, for 20 or 25 years. Thanks to the great help of the county and Steve and his team. We quickly got through the permitting process, and now we have this week, or last week, I guess, installed our 2 pads in the back of this is where you'll fill your car or truck. And we've poured the concrete, and I think in a matter of a month or weeks, or a few weeks, we're going to be serving gasoline in downtown Augusta. I know a lot of people, that was a concern, because the closest gas station was in Washington, Missouri. So you get out there and it'd be on E, and you go, uh-oh. So it happened to me several times, and we needed it and do need it because we have a lot of vehicles. We have obviously the Gators you see there. We have at any given time 100 to 200 people working on our job site. They all have cars and trucks. We have our own cars and trucks out there as a company. We have trolleys, so we had to have a fueling station and couldn't take the time to drive to Washington to fuel up as we did. So again, another great testament to the county, which is why we're there and which is why things are going so quickly on how your county has responded to the things that a business needs to benefit all of us. So again, thank you for that. Probably the most exciting part and the most expensive part about what we're doing is we're going to be building a hotel. We have successfully acquired that land. It is right off 94 in Jackson between Church Street and Jackson Street. It's a 100-acre parcel. Part of it we already had, and then we just acquired another 48 acres approximately a month ago. We're, again, thanks to the county, and thank you. Our folks are working hand in glove with the county to make this a reality as soon as possible. We have got engineers engaged. We're doing soil samples, and the county has just been awesome to work with to get this project going as quickly as we possibly can. This is a very high priority for our company. We are a global company, and this project gets attention regularly. I personally meet with the group once a week to make sure our progress is moving forward. And again, I think St. Charles County makes me feel like I have a partner in this project, as opposed to sometimes we feel like, we fight counties and we fight cities to get things done and changed. And my hat's off to the county. They have been great to work with. Here's another view of that campus. It will have a spa on it. It's obviously that's back there in that section where the swimming pool is. We think this is a critical component to draw people from a national audience to Augusta. We think the thing that's lacking is this kind of hotel and accommodations, especially for the wedding circuit. That's pretty prevalent out in the wine country. So the cornerstone of what we're doing out here is this piece. And we're thrilled that it's going to be in St. Charles County. And we've got a great architect and a great builder, and they've been great to work with. They're all local to the region, and it's going, again, according to plan. One more view of what it'll look like from the back. It will be walking distance to downtown Augusta, which we're excited about, and walking distance to two of our wineries, Augusta and Mount Pleasant. Probably the thing that that's going to be the biggest pop on the short term is Miss Augusta. This is a 250 passenger daily cruise yacht. We operate these throughout the United States. This is something, again, I personally got involved in. We had a boat coming in from the state of Washington, and it was really, really nice. And it was a nice piece of equipment. But frankly, for Augusta and St. Charles and my and Jerry's hometown, I wanted the best boat in our fleet. And the best boat in our fleet was the Miss Naples, the Naples Princess out of Naples, Florida. And we bought the company that builds these boats. So we were able to buy the identical boat out of Louisiana. We are retrofitting it as we speak. And I think in short order, by the end of September, it will be set to sail up and down the Missouri River. And I will tell you, get your expectation level high, because this is one great piece of equipment. We serve about 75,000 guests a year in the city of Naples on this boat. And we know the demand. We have people calling now to our event people and our planning people and our boat people, booking reservations on this boat, and it hasn't arrived yet. It's a full service boat. It's capable of serving dinners. It's capable of live music. It's capable of hosting events. They have hosted weddings on these boats. And I think the area is going to be thrilled with what happens when we get this boat. Again, your county stepped up big and very quickly worked with us to get in the Corps of Engineers and in the Coast Guard and our people to make this dream a reality very, very quickly and very directly. Got us starting the dock construction at Klondike Park. That was the big question mark. Could we dock a vessel like this? And it's just been accommodating. That's going to take a little while, obviously, to get that constructed. But we figured out a plan, again, working with the county to bring the boat up early and use temporary barges to dock at, so we can get this in the community as soon as possible. Another component here is our 12-hole championship golf course. You're the first to see this design. We have not released this to the media yet. That is the Balducci Winery site. We're in the process of acquiring 105 acres next to the 90 acres we own there. It's going to join both properties. I want to emphasize it's a championship golf course, so it's not going to be easy. It's going to be challenging, but we're going to have the hole placement or the tee boxes arranged in such a way where, you know, an average golfer can play there and a professional can play there. We're pretty excited about it. Reese Jones is our architect. Share a quick little story with you. Reese Jones is the guy that designed Torrey Pines Golf Course in California, where recently they had the US Open Championship. And on television, they were talking to Reese and they said, Reese, well, what projects do you have going on around the country? He says, well, I'm redesigning Augusta. And everybody, whoa, Augusta. He said, no, yeah, Augusta, Missouri. So Reese is involved. We're excited about it. He's excited about it. And my son is driving that project. Greg, he's a great golfer. Me, not so much, but I like to play. So does Jerry, beats me.
No, I don't.
But anyway, it's going to be obviously 12 holes. 12 holes is enough for me. After about 6, I'm thinking about other things, but 12, I think, is a new wave. Reese has promised me the way we're designing this and the notoriety, this will be on the cover of Golf Digest because it's going to be challenging. It's going to be a championship course, and it's kind of the new wave of golf, 12 holes. So excited about that. And obviously our concept is, yeah, come out and play some golf, but don't forget to drink some wine. So play 12, that other 6 you're going to play, sit down at our wineries and have some wine and food at our restaurants. So exciting concept. This is the actual visual of the amphitheater that we will be building on the Balducci campus. It will seat about 500. Don Simon, who we hired away from Frisella, is, and we are buying a nursery of our own, which I guess I can announce. We close on Monday on Town and Country Nursery we bought in Dutzau. Don's going to run that, and he's responsible for all landscaping and maintenance projects for our entire company. And we're excited to have Don as CEO of that project. And one of his first projects among many is to get the amphitheater up and going, get the golf course construction started, and assist in the hotel, and still service all the customers of Town and Country landscaping as we move forward. So this construction will probably start late fall. So I think next season we'll have an amphitheater for people to visit and enjoy. We'll start bringing in really well-known musicians to the area. We have most of the things that we're bringing to the region. We have relationships with, or other businesses that we do in other parts of the country. We own the Hertz Arena in Southwest Florida, and we're regularly bringing in very high-profile talent. That talent we think we can attract to Augusta once we have a hotel. We've talked to them about it. We're bringing in, who are we bringing in? Blake Shelton, not Blake Shelton, Glenn
Brad
Stefani,
Paisley,
Brad Paisley,
Chris Stapleton,
Cheryl Crow, a native Missourian. So a lot of big time country focus in the Hertz, and I think we'll be able to bring that to Augusta and St. Charles County soon. At our hotel, one thing we're going to do, and that is actually, I think, a picture of our vineyards. One thing we're going to do is hot air balloons. They're going to be at the hotel. They're going to be tethered. So as we talked about building the hotel, we said it needs to be high enough so you can look out over these vineyards. And then we thought, that's not going to look so great. What can we do where we have our visitors to hotels see the beauty of this land and all of it? So we decided to put a hot air balloon that's tethered. So if you're staying at our hotel, you'll be able to get a balloon ride up tethered so you won't float away and see the whole region and come down. We're going to install that before the hotel is complete to open it up to the general public. So that'll be happening relatively soon. We think perhaps by the end of the season this year. But again, another cool attraction for the area, we think. This is the one where we've tagged the line. We have a tagline for our zip line. There's nothing like having a bottle of wine and jumping on the zip line. So we think that's an attraction that we researched. There's actually a guy that lives in Augusta that we're in discussions with to build this for us. We think it's going to be on the top of Montel and zip you right down to 94. I know for one, I'm going to have at least a couple glasses of wine before I do that. But it should be fun. This guy that we're using to do it locally, he's done them all over the country. He's kind of one of these guys. That's what he does. And we're going to do it in the city of Augusta. We're going to do it with the local contractor and business, which we're excited about. If I were to tell you what we're bringing to the area that for local people or for anyone interested in the wine industry, the coolest thing that I've seen since we've been doing this is the Gator Vineyard Cellar and Production Tour. We have sampled this with 75 people. We're going to have 10 gators. We have them on order, like a lot of things in the country. We can't get them. We're getting 2 more in September, so we have 5 now. But enough for us to do the tours. We're starting the tours relatively soon. But you'll get a tour through the heart of the vineyards. You'll get to see, you'll go up and down the grapes and through the vineyards. Then you'll get to go into our underground wine cellars. Then you'll get to go into our production facility to see how we actually make wine. And then you'll go into our bottling plant and you'll get to see how we bottle wine. So in the course of about an hour or two, I guess 2 hours, you're going to know a lot more about the wine industry. And it's really intriguing and interesting, I think. And again, we sampled this with a sample group of 75 different people. Everybody said it's the coolest thing they've ever done. And it's unlike any, I know they do them out in California, but they only do them with the gators. I know they do them down at the Bass Pro thing, Big Cedar, but they only do them with the gators. We're going to show you everything. We're going to take it right in between those grapes. We're going to take it in the underground cellars. We're going to show you sample wine right out of the barrels that we've stored in some cases for 30 years. We're going to give you wine samples right out of that barrel. It's really, really a unique experience. And I think things that you and your family and your kids will remember for a long, long time and be proud that it's from Missouri. You know, this is a Missouri production, if you will. So next slide. Again, you might want to have a couple of glasses of wine, but we are going to have helicopter tours. We are in deep discussions with the same group that does them at Lake of the Ozarks. The plan now is where you see the little red pickup truck on 94 in Jackson. That will be a helipad if everything goes right. That's on the county agenda, I think, at its next meeting, along with the hotel. That's a sampling of one of the helicopters we'll be using. The plan is we're going to take those helicopter rides throughout the vineyards. Obviously, we have 1,100 acres of vineyards. We're going to take you up and down the Missouri River. You'll go over a boat. You'll zip down to Washington and see our vineyard down in Washington, in between Union and Washington, out on Highway 47. We'll zip you up to Herman to take a look at that. We will stop that helicopter if you want, or we can do it in a 30-minute tour, whatever our guests prefer. But it's something, again, we're pretty excited about. We're excited about providing that service from across the river. I live in St. Albans, and it's not easy to get to from my side to get over. I have to come down through Washington and then go over. So we're planning on using that service personally to get back and forth to our vineyards. But anyway, that's going to happen if we get the permitting. And again, very similar to what you can do down at Lake of the Ozarks. So same service, we hope. And if not, we'll do our own. Just quickly, this is not part of St. Charles County, but it's certainly part of what we're doing, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. But we are going to be providing housing for people that come to work for us. This is the Emmaus campus. It's 150 years old. It's a remarkable piece of property. It's on 50 acres. It's got the chapel up in the right-hand corner. It is a subset to our focus. To be honest, it became available. I got approached to purchase it, and we think it'll be an offshoot small boutique hotel and winery that will be part of our trolley tour on our way from Augusta down through Marthasville here, down through Dutzow, through our new landscaping company, down through Washington, and maybe as far as Herman and back, either by helicopter. We can take you on a helicopter and land you right in the front yard if you want, and have a glass of wine. So a lot of really cool, interesting attractions that you're not going to be able to see anywhere in the world but here. And we think this area of Missouri has that kind of appeal on a global basis. Okay. One of the other things, even though we're now headquartered in Missouri, this is like a lot of our businesses, this is a national company on distribution now. We have gotten our liquor licenses lined up to distribute our wine, our estate wine in other parts of the country. In the next week, we're going to be shipping our first order of wine from Augusta, Missouri to Florida. And that order is for 60,000 bottles of wine. So it's a game changer for the vineyards. It's a game changer for us on a national distribution level. That's one of the opportunities we saw when we made this investment, is how it could be taken throughout the rest of the country. We think, and I feel strongly and passionate about this, our wine is underrated and underappreciated and misunderstood on a national basis. And I can promise you, our company will change that concept in short order, starting with our first order of 60,000 bottles in Naples, Florida. So this is the Economic Development Council. So let's talk about the economic impact of what happens with our to the economy and to the area with a vision like ours. First off, the media has bought into our story on a local level, on a national level, and on a global level. We have been on live TV a total in the last 4 months of 22 times. 6 of those opportunities were on national TV, Fox Business News with Neil Cavuto, Maria Bartolomo, and Stuart Varney,
Yes.
who challenged my concept, if you envision this can become the next Napa Valley. And I gave him a little pushback on that interview. So when that happened, we've been in the Business Journal, St. Louis Post-Dispatch. I got interviewed by Forbes magazine last week. We were featured in Food and Wine National Magazine on what's happening in St. Charles County and Augusta, Missouri. All that publicity creates demand. And our wineries are all experiencing an explosion in demand for our product. Right now, that's local, but that demand, we're getting calls like Naples and other parts of the country for our products. The power of the media cannot be understated. It's been amazing for us, and it's been quicker. In some cases, we've got more media exposure than we'd really like at this stage of our development. We can't house anybody. We get calls, our company gets called, well, we want to come see it. We don't have a hotel there, so makes it a little tough. Which is why we're, pardon the French, hell bent on getting that hotel built just as soon as humanly possible. And again, the county's been great working with us to achieve that goal.
And so is the local press.
And so is the local press. And Jerry, the Washington, Missouri has been awesome. I'm a big fan with Jerry's mom and dad now, who are both 92. I don't think they liked me much till we bought the wineries. Now they like me because of all the publicity in Washington. So, and I think we have a slide on what the economic impact has been so far. So we rolled into town about, I think, January to July of 2021. We started doing things. We're at about $174,000 a month of sales. That now has ramped up a 250 increase to $428,000 a month in sales. Next slide. We think when our boat comes into town, we're estimating that our boat at 75,000 passengers a year, which we think based on just the inquiries and the demand, the new visitors, is going to generate another $300,000 a month. So we're going to ramp up, all things being equal, in the next 6 months to about $728,000 a month of revenue. We think in 2022, when with the tourism, the golf, the weddings events, our monthly projections will jump up to 1.5 million a month in 2022 of revenue. And by the way, we've never ever not hit the revenue projection in the history of our company. We think when the hotel comes in, we think the hotel's impact will be a minimum of $1 million a month. And so by 2023, we're ramped up to $30 million a year in revenue. I personally think that number's 40, but I've got a bunch of analysts that give me this data and they tell me, no, conservatively it's $30 million a year, $2.5 million a month. So The economic impact for taxes in the region is we think going to be great. It's going to be great for our company. It's going to be great for Missouri. Next, Chris. We're going to utilize our network to bring people in from surrounding areas, St. Louis, St. Charles County, obviously Kansas City, Illinois. We have a great transportation event planning business that really does this stuff. They're good at it. It's already started. The demand is there, and it's just going to increase. So what that means on my last slide here, and I'll shut up. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. If not, I'll be quiet. Jobs. We think we're going to create approximately 300 plus jobs in the Augusta area in St. Charles County. Right now, on any given day, we have 125 people on our job site. Those are mostly subcontractors, and we have probably 100 people in our winery business today. But we'll add an additional 300 people. We think we'll employ somewhere between 400 and 500 people when it's all said and done in the region. What this also does, it creates other opportunities for us. You know, we're in the process of buying Mid-America Coaches for the obvious reason. We bought a medical device company in Washington, Missouri called NOAA, and we bought another company that we closed on Monday, Town and Country Landscaping. So all these things create opportunities, create jobs, and creates us being a part of the community. I like to think our company is very philanthropic. We were big sponsors and involved in the recent Washington Town and Country Fair, and we're here. We think it's our company's philosophy. Too much has been given, much is expected. We want to be good citizens. We want to be philanthropic, and we want you to look to us for help when help is needed, because you're certainly giving us that opportunity by this great part of the country where we're given this opportunity. So thank you very much for the recognition. I appreciate it so very, very much. It's a dream come true for Jerry and I to be back home. Thank you very much.
David and Jerry, on behalf of everybody here, we want to wish you a happy anniversary, many more. And you've got about 243 new best friends that want to know how they can get on your Christmas list. Thank you for graciously being with us today. We are actually going to forego any questions at this time, but we're going to skip something in our agenda and move it forward. I don't know if you can see this, but we're going to move forward and have the portion where we're giving the award to you guys. Hopefully somebody from the Augusta Chamber will be able to come up. But here's what we were going to read, and we're still going to read it, even though you're, again, on the International Space Station over Florida just now. So let me set this down.
Thank you.
St. Charles County is known for its numerous landmarks. They include the historic St. Charles Riverfront, Katy Trail, St. Peter's Recplex, Lindenwood University, St. Charles Community College, Car Shield Field, Missouri Research Park, and the General Motors Wentzville Assembly Plant. The list goes on. We all have favorites. There's more that I could add or others that you might emphasize. But likewise, Missouri wine country has always been a big attraction and a wonderful addition in St. Charles County. Thanks to all the plans and the work already underway that we've heard about today, and we've heard about lots of plans today. St. Charles County is definitely on the way to becoming the Napa Valley of the Midwest. David and Jerry Hoffmann and your team, on behalf of the EDC of St. Charles County, it's my pleasure to present to the Hoffmann Company of Families the Economic Development Project of the Year, $100 million investment in Missouri wine country.
Oh, nice.
Thank you.
Anybody here from the Augusta Chamber? Augusta Chamber,
Get it back.
they'll hold on to it until the next time you're in town. Thank you again for being with us. All the best
Thank
to
you.
your family and the staff. And one more round of applause for Hoffmann Family.